We are all huge fans of the Street Fighter franchise. The characters and arts of Street Fighter are something that we cherish and love as a community. Having so many characters to choose from makes it difficult to pick a favorite to fight. While we might be familiar with their moves and playing style, do we know their backstory? She is Street Fighter's favorite anti-heroine, Juri. She is South Korea's most dominant Taekwondo practitioner. Her menacing kicks are a force to be reckoned with. In this episode, we're going to focus on the updated story of Juri. Where is she now? What is her background? You may be surprised. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Street Fighterverse. The development team of Super Street Fighter 4 was instructed to create a female Korean character, in response to many Korean fans requesting a Korean character in Street Fighter, as SNK and Namco have done in their respective fighting game franchises. Yoshinori Ono, ex-Capcom senior staff member, said the team had planned to add a Korean character when Street Fighter 2 became popular in Korea, but Korean government regulations made it impossible to create such a character. It is unclear if the explanation is accurate because of the other competitor's fighting game, released shortly after Street Fighter 2. Like SNK's Fatal Fury and Namco's Tekken, had Korean characters. The designers experimented with 400 to 500 variations of how the character might look. A number of concept designs for Juri were produced, including an overweight model and one that included mixed martial arts. Juri was designed to be an evil, sexy character. To make Juri a character people will either love or hate, the creators gave her a strong, unusual personality. To keep her storyline connected to the characters in Street Fighter 4, Juri was designed as a member of SIN, including the Feng Shui engine. Using the Feng Shui engine, it gave her a strong connection with SIN. Initially, it was planned to put the engine in her abdomen, like Seth's Tandon engine, but since that would be unattractive, the engine was placed in her eye. Her left eye was damaged long ago by Shadowloo henchmen. When in an ambush to kidnap her father, she was shot in the eye and lost the eye forever. SIN implanted the Feng Shui engine in her eye socket, amplifying her fighting ability. Early on, it was suggested that she be involved with the wrong people in a tragic love story. Yoshinori Ono, however, quickly reacted with, "No way, that's not good. She can't be a good girl. Surprise everybody and make her an evil character." A spider was also chosen as Juri's trademark. As a result, her top has a spiderweb design, and she is known as Spider. As many species are known for eating their mates, she is likened to the behavior and personality of a female spider. No character in the Street Fighter series had ever practiced Taekwondo, so they figured it would be a great opportunity to introduce Juri to the art. Her outfit was designed so that her silhouette would resemble traditional Taekwondo attire. However, the designers added bold colors and a unique design to make her stand out from the rest of the cast. In some ways, Juri is like Chun-Li's dark mirror image. They had both lost loved ones to M. Bison, and thereafter vowed revenge against him. Chun-Li is focused on punishing the dictator with a sense of justice, whereas Juri is willing to hurt anybody and everybody who stands between her and her revenge. Interestingly, another character inspired by Chun-Li, Jun-Li Milliam from Star Gladiator, shares more traits with Juri, such as the same theme of revenge and retribution with a butterfly motif. The purple dodo, a form of Chinese bra on her chest, is topped with 8 straps that meet at her back, forming a spider-like pattern. In addition to her long, baggy sweatpants and purple tights, she wears long, fingerless gloves. She painted her fingernails and toenails bright pink. Towards the top of her head, you'll notice that her dark hair has 2 horn-like bangs that appear to be fastened with pink ribbon. Her feet are wrapped with Taekwondo foot wraps. Her Street Fighter 5 costume is a pink and purple collared black suit with a spider pattern back, with a black high-neck sleeveless top underneath, black fingerless gloves with pink designs. The pants from her catsuit have black inlines with dark purple and pink. On her left eye, she also wears a black eye patch with a magenta pattern. The first alternate costume features a blue-green winter jacket, pink and white pants, black knee-high boots, and matching gloves. In this costume, she does not wear her eye patch, as it was worn before Bison ripped out the Feng Shui engine. Similarly to her primary outfit from the Super Street Fighter 4, her second costume has a white dodo and black trousers with pink and white outlines, matching black Taekwondo ankle wraps on her feet. Her hair is down, and her bangs are pink. While Ryu strives for meaning with each fight, Juri is driven more by vengeance, selfishness, and ruthlessness, and usually prefers to inflict pain on her enemies. A very hot temper is also characteristic of hers, as she can easily snap when she is retaliated against without warning. As far as Juri is concerned, combat is her passion, to the point that she becomes irritated when it is denied to her. When Rashid refused to fight her seriously, Juri said that he could just die if he did. Juri is also very cunning, as she is not above leaving her partners to further her own agenda. Minat described Juri as being hysterical and depressed, thereby implying her wiles and cruelty are just a cover for how broken she is on the inside. While she may be ruthless and vengeful, she still retains a semblance of honor. A young boy was left alive in the crossfire while she was on her mission in the Super Street Fighter 4 OVA. Similarly, Juri views Evil Ryu as a particularly vile example of ruthlessness, which also contradicts her statements regarding other Anatsuken users. As well as being hypocritical, Juri feels the need to mask her pain. Cammy and DeCapri suffer under Bison's might, but she mocks their suffering as if she had suffered a similar hurt as a child, but then always returns to help them in their times of need. In addition to calling Vega a pervert, Juri also takes pleasure in hurting others. I think this provides enough evidence to support Minat's claim. This story emerges from the Udon comics, Super Street Fighter Volume 1, New Generation, in the bonus stage section titled, Who is Juri? We can start in the early years of Juri Han's younger years, as a student of Taekwondo in Korea. Her trainer calls her name Juri as she is being trained. He exclaims, "Your posture is improper," as her challenger proceeds to attack Juri Han in a sweeping leg motion, leaving her defeated on the floor. In the beginnings, we can see that Juri was having trouble with her training. Even worse, her parents looked to be very formal and strict with her child. While on the floor, Juri Han's mother calls her out on her training, and I quote, "Your training is very expensive, daughter. Why should we spend so much money on Taekwondo if you're not able to show us improvement? Is this how you thank us?" Juri Han proceeds to ask for forgiveness, but her apologies mean nothing to her mother. As she states, "Apologies only mean something if you intend to change." How tragic is knowing that your mother batters you psychologically. Her father did not pay attention to her training as well. During her training, he was mostly talking on his cell phone. His wife exclaims, "Stop talking on the phone, will you? Did you even see the match?" And he states, "I don't have time for this, Anae. Do what you think is right." The irresponsibility of her parents makes you understand and appreciate Juri Han's development during the years. As they're talking at the family table, Juri's father speaks and says, "This Shadow Lu case will require me to fly overseas. I leave tomorrow morning quite early, so I expect you both to be ready at 5 AM sharp. We'll go to the airport together." Juri Han, not understanding, asks, what's a Shadow Lu?" A great starter in this series, as we can see the first time Juri Han has heard of what later her enemies would be. Her mother says, "It's not important, Juri. Just do as your father says." Juri's father states, and I quote, "It's okay, dear. I'll explain a bit. The Shadow Lu is a crime organization, Juri. They have many agents all over the world. I'm one of the prosecutors who are gathering evidence with the help of Interpol, so we can put these criminals in jail for a long time." Juri replies, "It sounds dangerous," in which her father replies, "It may be, but it's important, and it's also my duty." In that same way, it is your duty to train hard and not embarrass your family. Do you understand? Her replying, "Yes, Aboji," which in Korean is more like father, in a more respectful way. So for use when introducing them or addressing them to be polite, or when talking about them to others. Not knowing much about this situation, Juri understands that her father's line of work is a very dangerous one. As the meal ends, he tells Juri, "You are my daughter, and I expect great things from you." Juri Han's parents create this pressure on Juri to exceed and be the best at everything, especially in her martial arts. Most parents might seem to see this as a tough love, but in my opinion, that's just an excuse for weak parenting. Clearly, her parents pressure her to an extent where love is not the main focus in their household, which is another insight of her further development as a human being. It's early in the morning, and traffic to the airport seems to be slow, based on the mounts of snow falling down the sky. Out of nowhere, an explosion occurred in front of their car, their vehicle suddenly being shot by a group of mercenaries. As Juri's father exclaims, "Keep your head down." She has been shot in the head and left there as her parents were taken away, never to be seen again. 1 hour into her transition, she was in critical condition. There were 2 dead and 1 missing. Loss of blood, all horrific news reports about the incident. Juri Han was taken into emergency surgery immediately. They work relentlessly to operate her as fast as possible. As for 1 week on her recovery, she was stable. During this incident, she lost her left eye. They begin the funeral preparations for her mother, and the government would not negotiate with the Shadowloo terrorists. In her first week, the list of tragedies just keeps getting bigger and bigger. All of this happening at her 15 years of age. After 1 month of recovery, she gained insight and was addressed with some psychological concerns. As her father's ransom was not paid, they decided to kill her father on camera. This traumatic chain of events led her to take a nihilist approach on her own life. 5 months into her change, we can see Juri without 1 eye, hungry to learn her craft. She states to her trainer, "Shut up, you old fool. No excuses, no whining. You will serve me as you served my parents. You will show me everything you know about Taekwondo fighting forms. We will train night and day, non-stop until I am satisfied that my body is a weapon of death." Old Juri Han is no more. We are seeing the rise and evilness in her being. She is out for vengeance and destruction. Later in her life, she manages to unite with SIN, the Shadowloo Intimidation Network, the weapons division of the criminal organization of the Shadowloo. During Street Fighter IV, the leader and CEO of SIN was Seth, who was likely also constructed as an SIN weapons project. Many people believed at first that SIN was really the remains of a fallen Shadowloo, and not just a division. They developed a weapon called the Feng Shui engine, which was planted in Juri's eye socket. This gives Juri her ultimate abilities and power. Juri, being asked by Seth, "How do you feel?" She replies, "Oh, it's incredible. It feels like my body is coursing with limitless power. So, let me loose. Let's get one with this." Her tragedy gave her the roots to be evil. While other people overcome these adversities in other ways, she overcomes hers with pure destruction. In her early story, according to fandom, Juri Han was the prominent Taekwondo practitioner at the age of 15. Her father prosecuted organized crime operations as a lawyer. As soon as he began targeting Shadowloo, the organization kidnapped her family. As a result of the ordeal, Juri lost both her parents, and her left eye was seriously damaged. A decade later, she receives the Feng Shui engine implanted into the eye in the SIN laboratory as her first mission. In order to test out the Feng Shui engine, Juri assassinates operatives in a public area. Even with guns, her enemy stands no chance against her, taking them out one by one from behind. Chun-Li was called to the scene to stop the massacre. Chun-Li rushes into the scene to arrest Juri, and arrives just as Juri killed the gunman using her Feng Shui engine from the inside of a building. A woman dies in the attack from collateral damage. Juri and Chun-Li battle, ending with Juri unleashing her eye's power and knocking out Chun-Li. As her victim lays on the ground, Juri prepares to deal the finishing blow. However, her Feng Shui engine malfunctions, forcing her to flee back to the lab. After getting it fixed, Seth assigns Juri to her next mission, capturing M. Bison's elite female assassins, the Dolls. Juri flies to the base of the Dolls with several SIN employees. She manages to defeat every single assassin in combat, including Julie and Juni. As she carries the 2 unconscious assassins away to an SIN plane, Cammy and Guile arrive. They have a heated fight, but Juri comes out on top and manages to incapacitate Guile. She boards her plane and straps Juni and Julie to beds with wheels. As it takes off, Cammy manages to jump and grab onto the open boarding ramp and confronts Juri for one final time. After an intense conflict, Juri pushes one of the rolling tables with Juni on it, which collides with Cammy, who both fell off the boarding ramp into mid-air. They survive the fall, with snow breaking their fall. Juri flies off and is congratulated by Seth upon returning. She licks her lips in anticipation, sensing that SIN and Shadowloo will clash in the very near future. In Super Street Fighter IV, During the global tournament hosted by Seth, he sends Juri in to participate. She sees it as a perfect opportunity for some fun. During this tournament, Juri is confronted by Cammy and Chun-Li again. The result of the fights are unknown. Juri continues to tend to her hidden agenda. In her ending, she approaches Seth, who was incapacitated as a result of Bison's brutal beating, and taunts him for being nothing more than Bison's spare body. Before she is to dispose of him, she reveals that she was to serve SIN for as long as it suited her purposes, since she was merely trying to pit Seth and Bison against each other, a task Seth obviously was not up to. Juri viciously crushes Seth's tendon engine by stomping on it and leaves him for dead. In Street Fighter V, shortly after the fall of SIN, Juri faces off against Bison to avenge her family. However, Bison quickly gets behind her, attacks her with the Psycho Power, and grabs her head. He rips out her Feng Shui engine and leaves her for dead. She goes into an abandoned SIN laboratory and finds another eye, the Feng Shui Engine Alpha. Juri meets up with Colleen under the disguise as Helen, offers Juri the ability to join her when they are interrupted by Balrog, who's looking around for SIN agents. Wanting to test out her new eye, Juri fights him before Ed tells him that they have to get back to base to discuss a plan. Juri later meets Sea Viper, who informs her that the only reason she's not in jail is because she is not the primary threat, and warns her about Shadowloo's motives. Later at the Shadowloo base, looking around for data on Shadowloo, Juri confronts Fang, who becomes insulted by her remarks on being Bison's second in command. Their fight ends with Fang using his poison clouds to make Juri retreat. Juri, now realizing their motives, calls Colleen by phone and finally accepts her offer to take down Shadowloo. When Rashid and Azam meet Charlie Nash and Helen, Juri arrives by kicking open the door. She eyes the other people in her team and decides to fight Rashid, which he is reluctant about. Juri threatens to kill him if he won't fight her seriously, at which point Azam steps in to defend Rashid. Helen breaks up the conflict and explains the danger of the Black Moons, and presents a plan to stop Shadowloo. Juri shows interest in the plan and joins. In Brazil, when Cammy defends DiCapri by assaulting police officers, Juri arrives by motorbike and rams an officer. She picks up Cammy and DiCapri, finding the situation amusing. Juri later watches with amusement as Cammy and DiCapri fight before Cammy knocks DiCapri out. When Vega arrives and defeats Cammy, Juri intervenes, calling Vega a pervert and mocking him. She fights him off and Vega decides to leave temporarily. She brings Cammy back to Russia with her team as they plan their final attack on Shadowloo. During the final assault on Shadowloo, Juri and DiCapri arrive to take on Shadowloo's soldiers. DiCapri saves Cammy from Vega's claw. They team up to fight the other dolls, who are still under the influence of the Psycho Power, and are controlled by Fang. Juri watches the fall of the Shadowloo with the others. In Street Fighter VI, Juri reminisces with her hatred for M. Bison, as well as the fall of Shadowloo, thinking about all the things she did in order to eventually exact her revenge, and being willing to do anything to accomplish her goal. After the apparent death of Bison and the fall of Shadowloo, she doesn't seem to be satisfied. Instead, she finds herself angry, likely due to the fact that she didn't deliver the death blow herself. Her inability to be happy at the completion of her goal frustrates her, so she sets out to find more information. From Chun-Li's perspective, it's revealed that she instead talked with Juri and wondered why she still is in pursuit of wicked and chaotic things, explaining that with Bison gone, she doesn't understand why Juri hasn't found peace. Juri asks her instead why she retired after Bison's death, insinuating she was a hypocrite for only being an agent till her own conquest was completed. Chun-Li retorts that if revenge was all Juri cared about, she wouldn't continue down a path of wickedness, insinuating Juri is searching for something she can't find. She asks her to atone for the bad things she's done in the past, and still holds out hope for her, telling her, in a way, you too are one of the Bison's victims, just like her. Juri laughs this off like she usually does, telling Chun-Li she'll have to lecture her harder if she wants to get through to her. However, later on, Juri is seen sitting on her motorcycle, thinking about Chun-Li's words. Chun-Li's sympathy and support in calling her one of Bison's victims too seem to finally start reaching her. Juri scoffs at these feelings, whispering to herself that she hates Chun-Li so much for finally starting to get through to. After gathering some intel, she seeks out Chun-Li. Despite hearing that she had retired, Juri refused to believe that she wouldn't be intrigued by whatever information she found. Initially, Chun-Li's apprehensive about Juri's intentions, particularly as Juri decided to introduce herself by challenging Chun-Li to a fight first. Fighting Chun-Li seems to restore a slither of happiness in Juri, who was worried Chun-Li had lost her touch. Chun-Li thanked her for her concern before asking if a fight session was all she came for. Juri informs Chun-Li that she came to warn her instead. She'd found out some things that reinforced the belief that despite what they did during the events of Street Fighter V, there is more coming. When Chun-Li asks her to elaborate, Juri insinuates that she wants Chun-Li to beat it out of her if she wants to find out, insinuating that Chun-Li herself and their no longer volatile rivalry is all Juri has left to be happy about these days. On July 18, 2008, Capcom published Street Fighter IV in Japan for arcades. It was developed by Capcom and DIMPS, and with it, they introduced the South Korean female Taekwondo fighter, Juri Han. Juri's design in Super Street Fighter IV, including her hair and chest wear, resembles Jolene Gujo from Stone Ocean. Jolene has a butterfly motif, and her stand, Stone Free, turns her body into threads and webs, as well as wearing spiderweb pattern clothing. Meanwhile, Juri has a spider motif and cleaves a butterfly in her official artworks. So what did you like about Juri Han? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This has been your Street Fighter host. Welcome to the center stage. Our new Discord server. There you can talk with us, chat about current events going on in Street Fighter, information, theories, and lore. We'll leave the link in the description box below. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and becoming part of this Street Fighter community. We want to thank you for your positive comments towards our channel because it only habilitates us to grow even more. From the Street Fighterverse crew, we thank you.